I'll be adding my own stories and my own experiences and cover in detail about those things. I'll just quickly share my screen. Perfect. So I'm sharing a screen.
Yes, Raji, it's working.
Yeah, I'm on a different screen, so I may not be able to see or read the chats that are if in case anything. If you're having any difficulties, feel free to unmute and let me know. And 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes, I should be able to complete. If not, please stop because on each of the slides, I can talk stories and I'll try to restrict it to wherever required and I'll take it forward. So this is like SaaS, software as a service. So how are we able to do and what we did at Zoho? So I'll be covering about a brief about what we have done, and I should say I've interacted with designers. I know this is a alumni group of the design school. So I have my own interaction with art designers, the way we learned and how we build products. Definitely, you're all expert in that field. But based on my experience, based on the learnings for product design, what is expected is some few pointers I would cover at the end of the session. So this is how we represent Zoho, the people who are in it. So this was a picture that was taken almost 15, 16 years ago. These are all Zoho school children. I'll be talking about Zoho schools as well in my presentation. So more than the Zoho logo, this people logo is something my favorite. So I start my presentation always with this. So if you have to give a brief of what is Zoho, many of you know today about Zoho, just a gist of what it is. So it's a 25-year-old organization. We have products. We have different applications. I'll just quickly talk about them later as well. So 50 different applications and people across 190 different countries are using the product. It's an online software as a service model and we have 75 plus million users using the product. Our employee strength is 10,000 plus, and it's not one product that we have. It's a connected ecosystem. So whatever you need for end-to-end operation of your business, from your customer relationship to taking care of your people and to coming up with monitoring requirements, we have end-to-end. Because we started as a startup, and we know the pain points of any startup or any organization, and that is how we went about building all these products too. So this is just about what is Zoho and what we do here. And if you see location wise, pretty much we are or most of the development happens in Chennai. I should say almost 70% of the company is from Chennai and it is operating from one place. It's not scattered even in Chennai. It's operating from one place, that is the Guruvanjeri Estancia, the office that we have. We used to have our office, as I was initially talking with Ravi, when the company was started. I think it started out of our CEO's house in the in the upper floors of the house with just 4 people working together at Tambaram. And then it moved to Velachery. That is where I joined the organization in 99. I couldn't locate the office in the first place when I wanted to find where the office was because it wasn't even called Zoho. We were called Bamboo Systems during that time frame. And after 2000, the company, because the US franchise where we sold the software, it was called as AdventNet. So to be in line, the company was also called AdventNet Development Center in Chennai, in India, somewhere around 2001 timeframe, 2001 timeframe. Later, when Zoho has, in the company itself, we have different brands and we have different brands for different products so that each, they don't affect, one doesn't affect the other. That's the reason we come up with different brands. And when we did cloud model and Zoho was the name brand we had, and that started picking up, we wanted to rename ourselves as the company too, and that's how the company name was then changed to Zoho Development Center and Zoho Corporation. So that's the story behind the naming of the company. So from when I joined to where I am today, we have changed our name 3 times. So my friends used to ask me, how are you able to be with the company for so long? People generally change organizations. I tell them, no, even I've changed. There are 3 different companies that I've been working now. So that's how I tell people who when they ask me. So most of the development happened in Chennai. We have been moving to the outskirts, and I, as a person, I don't want to spend time traveling and wasting time. I love travel, but commuting daily doesn't make sense. So I move along with the organization wherever the organization moves, and I'm also staying nearby Stanchats and next door. It's all within the same campus. I walk to office, my kids walk to school, and it's all within the same campus, and that's how it is. And almost 10 years back, we started at Tenkasi too. So Tenkasi, we have a development center. But this pandemic, I think we were able to expand to many offices. So Zoho spokes office locations down south, there are different locations. It's basically we needed a place, and we needed a leader, we needed a manager to own that place and anchor that place, because otherwise it will be scattered. It will be difficult to manage a team. It might be we are coming up with spokes offices and hub offices. Hub offices could be around 500 people capacity, spokes offices 20-30 capacity. So these are all still experimental and in works, because even without all this, we are a SaaS company, so we can work from anywhere. This pandemic is not something that has changed the way that we work. All of us have a laptop. The day one any person joins an organization, they have a laptop, and they can work from anywhere. The products that are being developed and the tools that are required, it's all online, available online. So work from anywhere has been our goal, or has been our day-to-day activity for the past 10 plus years. So this does not change much. So we are still experimenting, and our CEO, he works out of Tenkasi. For the past 2 years, he has been working from Tenkasi, a rural place at Tenkasi, not even proper Tenkasi, even in a remote village. So he wanted to do rural upliftment, and he encourages a lot of people to go set up offices in rural. If you are from a place and you want to return to your native and settle down there, he encourages us to do, and that's how we have been developing. But pretty much most of the development happens in India. And these are our global footprints. We have offices in US, in various parts of the world, in Europe, Singapore, Japan, Australia, Dubai. All these places we have offices, but these are all small offices, sales offices, 5-6 people put together. They come to office or they work from home. When we visit, we just go say, okay, we have an office here. That's all. Because a lot of business require a local presence. That was also some of the reasons we had to come up with the local offices. And but no development happens there. It's only sales offices. So looking back this 25 years, in just 2 minutes, I'll cover what we have been doing. So when the company started, the conventional crossroad of which side to take. Do I do services or do I do products? So that was a decision point that was there for the CEO. Sridhar Vembu, along with his brothers and a few of his friends, they joined together and started this organization. And it was like there is always a starting point for any organization or any idea. So when I've heard from Sridhar saying this, and that's the story we keep talking about. What was the pivotal moment? How did the idea itself get started? So Sridhar and his brother, when they were working in US, they went ahead. They went about shopping. Both of them were working in software organizations. They went about shopping, and they were able to see T-shirts made in different places, made in Taiwan, made in US, made in China. They couldn't find anything made in India. It struck them. They want to do something from out of India, and they were good at products. I mean, they were good at software. So why don't we come up and why don't we set up a software company and do products out of India? So that was the shopping experience when both the brothers had was the pivotal moment. The idea behind why they wanted to start a software company based out of India. And Sridhar's younger brother Kumar Vembu, he resigned his job from US. He moved back to India, and they joined together and they started. Because 96 time frame, services were the easy route to do. They didn't want to take that easy route. They wanted to take a road less traveled, and they wanted to do something where you can proudly say, I've done that. It's not that I'm using somebody else. So that was the thought process that they had in 96, and that's how the product company started. And when we started, the target market was OEM, the original equipment manufacturers, we say. If you could see the, what is that, the projector screens you take, there will be small adjustments that you do there where you can adjust the size, adjust the color. So there is a software, the embedded software that is required for that. So that is the embedded software was what we started as the first one. The target market was original equipment manufacturers, the brand under the brand name WebNMS. That was in 1996. And then during the 2000 time frame, the OEMs were going out of business. When OEMs were going out of business, obviously we as a supplier for them, we don't have a target market. So we wanted to branch off, and we wanted to, then that's when we figured out we could target the IT departments. Every college or any organization you take, there will be a small IT department. There could be some printer paper jam problem. There is a server CPU utilization problem. There is a switch or router that is not working problem. Something will be there. When there is a system involved, there is an IT staff, a system administrator involved in that place. So we thought we could tap that market, and we started doing products for IT admins. That is the brand Manage Engine. Even today, from 2001, Manage Engine is a successful brand for us. We do have products under WebNMS brand. We have this under Manage Engine. All these are successful products, but that is the starting point for us, the IT departments in 2001. And then in 2005, when the Web 2.0 started picking up, where the Google Chrome itself, the browser-based internet was picking up. Internet was there, but then the Web 2.0 technology, where all along the time frame, the web was only considered a medium of consuming content. But with Web 2.0, it is considered a medium of contributing content. You can take your own photos and upload. You can write your own content and upload. So which means there is going to be content on the cloud. The cloud started picking up. So every business will move towards that angle. Was a forethought that the CEO had in 2005, and we started targeting every business. So that is the birth of Zoho at 2005. So if you have to give it in another terminology, 96, Java was the cross-platform that was a selling point for us. See, if when I joined in 99, I finished BE Computer Science from College of Engineering, Guindy here, but I wasn't aware of Java as a programming language. I came to the office, I learned the language, and then I started coding using that language. If you see, that will be any technology that is in hot requirement, there will be a lot of training centers, there will be a lot of certification courses. So Java as a known technology or as a training, or every company requiring that, was happening almost in 2003-4 time frame. But at any point in time, I can say from the beginning, 5 years, the company would be ahead of thinking what would be required down the line. So always the CEO's vision will be that 5 years down the line, what is the roadmap, how the things have to be taken. And from day one, it is like 25% of the company would be working on R&D projects. It's not that everybody will be working only on an end user product. There will be room for experimentation. There will be place where you can come up with your own ideas and try some experiments, try to see what works, what not works. A lot of things will happen. So that is something that was unique, which added as a booster point for me to carry along, because I, being a product person, I like the way the company operated. So I just continued working here. So Java, we started working from 1996. The cross-platform, wherever you can install. You need not write separately for Windows and Linux. Write it once, run it in any place. That was a technology which was used in 96. And 2001, we have to diversify to serve it, because the targets, the end users were going out of business. So we didn't have any chance. We had to do something so that our survival is important. And 2005, we saw the cloud picking up. We didn't want to miss that opportunity. We wanted to ride that wave, and we started doing products for based on the cloud version. So WebNMS, 5,000 users, we were very happy with it. Manage Engine, 500,000 users, we were very happy. With Zoho, with every business and every individual who has any needs for their business or individual needs, we have products, we have software. 5 billion is our hope. Everybody can use Zoho's product. So that's the stage we are in today. So over the last decades, we have been building apps. I'm not getting into the details of the app, just to give a gist. For sales and marketing, whatever is required, we have multiple apps. These are all just logos. I can talk about each of them in detail for us. Email and collaboration, we have meeting tool, we have emails, we have click and connect communications, all sort of, because now the content is on the cloud, you need for collaborative work, we have tools. Finance, bookkeeping, invoicing, every business has that. We have finance suite. HR for people management, for recruit portals, and IT and help desk for managing the IT administrations, and custom solutions. Everything cannot be fitted into the out of the box solutions. You can drag and drop and build your own custom application using a creator platform, and build dashboards using our analytics tool. So we have 50 different products we have. That's why we call ourselves the operating system for your business. Focus on your business needs. Leave the rest of this to us. So that is the mantra that we have been following. And the important point here is Zoho runs on Zoho. The 10,000 people organization Zoho that we use all these products internally for our own needs. That's how each of these products get started. It's not that we see a market requirement and we start building a product. We have a requirement. How do we handle that? We are using other tools for handling this. What are the pain points in that? Can we come up with a solution? And each and every of our product, we use it internally for minimum 2 years before we give it out in the market. So that is how the products are evolving, and that is how the products are shaping, and that is how the products become mature. If you don't use your own products, you will not know the pain points. So you have to be your first customer has been a mantra that we have been using. It's not that somebody else will use the product, you just have to code it and give it away. So that is one of the important points we have been able to be successful in this 25 years. And that's made in India, made for the world. It's a Zoho's tagline. So moving on to the 4 sections that I wanted to talk about, which is the important criteria or which has contributed to what Zoho is today for the success of Zoho. I'll be touching upon the products, the people, the processes we have, and some of the philosophies of our CEO and the company that we follow. Because we keep hearing from him every week, every month, every time when we listen to him, we invariably start following that, and at least the top people who have been there for longer years, we are more of following the same philosophies, kind of. That's how it is. So when we take products, what is that I have to say about the products that we have? So these are all the different. Can you say what is common among these elements? I mean, it may not be. This is something that I do in a face-to-face meeting. Just think through what is common among these. Human hair, peacock tail, shark teeth, amber, tungsten, bamboo, ostrich feather, anything that's striking as a common thing? Can you think of it now? Yes, tungsten. These are all the different elements, or not just these, 200 more different elements which Edison tried and failed before he concluded that tungsten worked in electric bulbs, in bulb. Why I'm bringing this here is today Zoho is seen as a success story. Everybody wants to know how we are doing things. If there are 50 different products that has been successful, we did 100 different products that did not see the light of the day at all. We have not released them. I have worked in many such projects or many such products which we didn't release. There could be many reasons for that. I have worked in personally. I have worked in 4 different products. We were not able to release. The reasons could be many. When we evaluated, possibly the market is not there. When we release this is going to be a problematic one for another existing product. We have to do it in a different branding. We have to bundle it differently. There could be any number of reasons, but we do have our own share of failures. It's not that we have always had only success. The point here is the willingness to try out something and fail. Then you will interestingly you will tend to succeed. So but it doesn't mean that the product that we have not shipped out is completely waste. The product that I have worked myself, the different modules can be taken out separately and put it or used in another product. The main thing here is do not attach, none of us, at least the top management or the initial set of people or the managers here who own the product. I'm just a representation of one person here. There are 1,000 other people like me at Zoho who all follow the same philosophies and same processes. So we make sure that we don't attach any ego with the product. It is okay. It's not that I have done this, I have to go about and release it. Once we start having that, it will be very difficult to do anything for the company. It is okay. It's not good for the organization. We should be open enough to detach it or rewrite it. So that mindset has to be there. That is something important. And I'll just quickly give some examples of what are some things that we have been doing. Because any product that we take, that you take in the market, there will be competition. But when there is a competition, how do you make sure that you make it interesting against your competition? So that is something it is important. And where there is competition, there is opportunity. It's not that the space does not have an competition at all. Let me go and do a product there. Then there is no opportunity at all in that space. So, say for example, this is all for online market, online business. In a SaaS world, somebody is coming and visiting your website. You need to track that. Track meaning not exactly the person. Sometimes could be the person too. How long? What is the time they have spent? How long they have been watching or reading through your website? The more, where are they coming from? The more the time they take, the circle will shrink, or the person will be moved inside. You know that these are hot potential. This is called as visitor tracking. There are different products for this, but we just enhanced on this, and the circular pattern of people and moving people inside concentric circles is an addition that we added to an existing, or is an to the existing products, and this clicked. So this is something we try to, there are few patterns we try to get as well, depending on what is the unique thing that we have been doing. But that's an interesting add-on. There are going to be competition. See what additionally you can do, what interesting add-on you can do is something we keep working on. Similarly, for another product, which is a presentation mode. So in any presentation, be it at office or at college or any presentation you do, when you have an open audience and you ask them to, you can ask any question. Many a times there will not be a question, and sometimes people might want to ask, but for the fear of what will others think, people will not ask such questions. So what we will internally, it will happen in any of our meetings. Sridhar will ask, do you have any questions? Can you tell? Nobody will say. Then we came up with this idea where there will be a presenter app and there will be a mobile. This I'm talking about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. There will be another app which is called as viewer app. You can go and anonymously, without mentioning your name, you can ask questions. That is when we got more questions coming up, because we are worried about only the problem, not who's asking the question. So we have that as a feature in all of our products, or wherever in our open connect medium. There is a connect portal. The company, when a CEO makes a talk or when the CEO makes a post, anybody can go and make any comment anonymously. Not every company would be able to do that. We do have some negative comments coming up too, but the real problems will come out when you ask people to talk about problems without without revealing their identity. The real problems will come up. There are more ideas also that has come up because of that, because people fear what will others think when I give an idea. So when we had this anonymous comment, that picked up, and we introduced that into our product, and that was the selling point for us. Every product you have, try to find out what is that one interesting, unique selling point when compared with your competition, and that will add value. So some of the product ideas itself came through this anonymous comments that we have. Similarly, mail as a product. Gmail has been there for years. We do have mail as a product, and it took a lot of time for us to move to the SaaS product, because we have all been used to fetching mail into our laptop. It took a lot of time to use our own product itself. And the add-on that we added to the product is the generation is moving towards the social media platform. No longer you have to just forward the mail to another person, FWT : forward, then a reply, then a forward, then a reply. Remove all that. Collaborate over the email itself. Just mention them, tag them, ask what is their feedback. You discuss all that there and then do a reply. That was a cool add-on that we added as a unique thing over the mail platform itself that we had, and that added fetching value for our mail product, because mail has been there as a product for so long. How do you add value depending on what is required in the market is something we always think of. So it is not just the success of a set of tools, not just depend on how well they work, but it depends on how well they work together. So we have different products. They must be able to work together and give a consolidated solution. So setting a goal, making a plan, getting it to work, and just stick on to it without any deviation to reach your goal. A long time goal, 5 years once release goal is not going to work in startup companies. That's a you need to have goals, but 5 years once is when I'm going to release is not going to work. Instead, make quicker releases. Even if you fail, it is okay. We are okay with people who try and come and say that I tried this, it does not work, rather than saying I didn't try at all. So that's how we see. So how many different interesting points I have when I want to take a product roadmap. What are the different points? If I take this route, where do I end up? How many interesting points I have? How many interesting releases I can do? Versus if I take the other route, what is the interesting points over there? That is the progress that we work. When there are some fixed milestones which are going to be blocking, we just move that ahead and proceed with our releases. The crux is create interestingness among employees. They must feel valued for what they are doing, and they must be happy about whatever they do. So every product, there will be something interesting to do. So that is the uniqueness about our products. Interesting products, even though they are standard normal products when compared with what is available in the market, how can you make it additionally more interesting is something that we work on. Moving on to people. So this is the second section. So what we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. We believe in this, so we don't care much about the academic credentials. We only worry about if they have the required quality or required hands-on experience. Not even the experience, the willingness to work, the fire in the belly to work on the product, not just the paper credential. I have done more than thousands of interviews. I just look at how the people, even I'm not worried about if people are able to answer the question, the approach towards the question, and the willingness to learn on the go. Because every day it's going to be a changing environment. Every day the technology is going to change. We have to rewrite everything. It's not that I've learned and completed. We don't want that mindset people. So that is something we focus in our recruitment, and that is something that has led us to come up with our own Zoho schools as well. So we do have a concept called as Zoho schools, where we train people after 12th. And this is not something new that we have been doing. 16 years we have been running Zoho schools today. We have been able to do successfully. Way back in 2005, we had these three questions. The philosophy was, we don't want any credentials. We will wither the credentials. That's not required. The necessity we had was, where do we get our talents? 2005, the company was not known outside. None of the colleges were ready to even allow us inside for their recruitment. This was a honest thing. We didn't know where to get our talents from. So we decided we could. That's a necessity. We wanted people, but we weren't known, so we couldn't get into colleges. The realization was, even after they joined the organization, that's not the talent that we wanted. We have to train them for close to a year to work on the product. So these were the three thoughts that we had. So we thought what we could do. Can we start a small experiment? So we started our own experiment. We had big plans, but we wanted to start small. So we went to nearby schools, people who did not have many options, people who could not afford a college education. We just gave them some basic aptitudes test, and we started with 6 students, 2 teachers, 3 subjects. That's how Zoho Schools was started almost 16 years ago. But today, every year we have a batch of 80 students joining our Zoho Schools. They get trained for close to 1.5 years in this Zoho School environment, after which they get placed in the within the teams, and they get continuously trained, and they become employees in the organization. And there have been again, this is again another experiment that we did, and we did find it successful. Possibly because it's software, we were able to teach them what is relevant and what is needed for a software industry. And there have been there have been a lot of questions, and how you do this, what do the children do if they are not getting placed. There have always been more requirement than the than the students that are produced from Zoho schools. So that possibility is not been there. Sometimes that could be a question like, they don't have a degree. What do they do when they go outside? We do have examples of people who have went out and they have started their own business. And after a point in time, the experience that you have is important rather than a certificate. And we do have our own Zoho School people who have gone out and got placed in many different companies after the relevant hands-on experience that they have had. We have all such examples, and it has been a successful model for us. Zoho Schools of Learning, contextual, relevant, and experiential. What do we do different at Zoho Schools that has made it tick in the past 16 years is the practical exposure that they are given. From day one, a student joins, they get a laptop, it's an individual training that they undergo, and they do practical knowledge. And the syllabus is changed every 6 months once, every 1 year once. The syllabus, dynamic syllabus, depending on, see, the Go programming languages keep changing. There is a Go language that needs to be learned by the students that will be included in the syllabus because it's our own. We can't do that. If you're attaching it, and there could be questions like, why are you not attached with any university? When we are attached with that, we will not be able to do that. And teachers are not just trained teachers who come from outside. They are our employee force itself to take care of teaching these people. And we pay stipend for them. It's not that they pay the fees. From first month onwards, the children are paid stipend. Collaborate with seniors. When the alumni network is very strong. Today, 10 to 15% of Zoho's employees are from Zoho schools. And you will not be able to make out a difference whether this person is from Zoho schools or he has come from outside. Absolutely no difference. So the collaboration happens everywhere, not just at the classroom. At the pantry, at the sofa, while they play carom board, or at the lunch hall, collaboration happens at all places. Communication, we focus on communication skills, not just the grammar part of it. What is relevant and what is required for the job is what we focus. They have all access to what CEO talks, to what is happening in the team. They get high-speed internet connections, and there is no test, no exam, no assessment. It's a work that they do. You have to prove by your work. So these are some things that we do differently that has worked for us at Zoho Schools. Not just Zoho Schools, our recruitment also, we only focus on taking people who will fit into our culture, who could make a difference. And even within our organization, we work in the model of small teams. It's not a very hierarchical one. It's a flat hierarchy. Small teams who work within themselves. The people are given importance. They take the decisions. They are given the responsibility, and that has helped us a lot. It's not that one person dictates, everybody listens, and we don't do micromanagement. People are not required to be micromanaged is something that we strictly follow. So unique people, that's our people philosophy. When you take processes, some of the important processes we have are give them feedback then and there, both positive as well as negative. Don't wait for the review cycle for giving feedbacks. And one of the important thing about feedback is give the positive feedbacks in public and give the criticism in private. And one exception to that is don't praise your boss in public. And we allow people to disagree with us. There will be a lot of disagreements. We encourage that because we don't want everybody to be saying yes to whatever you say. It's like a shadow. We already have our own. So we allow people to disagree. That's how new product ideas get formed. Some of the reasons for employee retention that people have been quoting are about, and we keep it very simple. You have the creative freedom. There are learning opportunities. 30% of your daily time has to be allocated for learning. We don't strictly follow every day what you are doing. Work is given and target timeline will be given. How you do, when you do is up to you. It's not that you have to be on your seat all the time to do things. That's not something that happens. No micromanagement in that case. The organization structure is very flat. Openness to ideas. We have this anonymous system where people can make any comments. People are responsible for their job. Team change is open. It is like, if you don't like a team, fire your manager. That's a criteria. Because a lot of time, the friction is only with people. If you want to work in another team, you can talk with HR and you can make the team movement. We have simple hiring process. And exit process is again simple. It is not that somebody has decided they want to exit. There's no point in having a 3-month notice period and asking them to stay and work. They have decided they want to go. Make it smooth and make it win-win for both the people. As long as they don't have anything to transfer as a knowledge transfer, we have done exits even on the same day. So that's how simple the processes are. We don't follow very strict, elaborate processes. Keep it simple. The last section on philosophy, what are the philosophies that we have? I think Ravi covered some of them. No to VC money. We have been running successful on our own revenues and on our own business, because once you attach yourself with a VC, you are answerable to them. You cannot try all these experimentation that we are doing. They would want some exit criteria, and they would want somebody else would be controlling it. Sridhar doesn't want that at all, and we will not go public. That's the philosophy that we follow. And for even in our recruitment, there are different. I mean, we make sure that we evaluate people individually. I've been to college for recruitment, and there was a civil engineering student who came to me and said, I cannot take up this because I was recruiting for developer. He said, I cannot take this exam, but I'm good at front end development, meaning HTML, CSS. I have designed my own web page for my department. I was impressed with the way he came and he presented. That's how we don't look at paper resumes. And I had a designer opening and I recruited him. So all that I'm saying is it's not the same exam for all. So that's something, and the individuals are given importance so that they feel valued. And that's something that we have to take care. And this is something as a philosophy we follow. This is called as wabi sabi in Japanese. I'm sure many of you would have known this: the imperfect, impermanence, incompleteness, and you celebrate that imperfection. It means if you give me more time, I can make it more beautiful. At any point in time, I cannot say it is complete and done. That is how our product version are. We keep releasing. If you give me more, I can polish it more. I can come up with additional releases. That doesn't mean I will work on it for years and then only I'll go ahead and release. No, we do give it to releases. We enjoy that incompleteness. There could be issues. We know there are problems, but we give it to customers, get their feedback, try to address them. So that is something that we follow. And as I earlier said, Zoho runs on Zoho. Eat your own dog food is a philosophy we follow. We do strictly release it internally for close to 2 years. We are afraid of releasing it internally rather than to the external world, because customers will be okay with if there are issues. Our own employees, they cannot tolerate. There will be a lot of issues. So we do internally, we polish it, then we take it to the outside world. And this is a philosophy. I still remember my first manager when I joined the organization. I still remember his words that he told me during the first week. This is exactly he told, Raji, almost 80% of your awakened time you're going to be spending at office. Make sure you're happy at whatever you do. So that is something that has caught my attention. It's not that, it's a Monday morning. That's not the feeling that anybody has. So it's more like we are happy about what we are doing. It's our life's work. That's what is Zoho. So that as a philosophy we do follow. There's no path. Don't chase the butterfly, they say. Sit, be calm, work on your work. See what you're doing. You will be able to. Happiness is in the path. The failures that you have, that could be failures. That's okay. But learn from it and move on. So that's something that we follow. With respect to competition, generally they say, how are you able to be ahead of your competition? So the triple E strategy is what they say: emulate, enhance, and exterminate the competition. But we don't follow the triple E strategy. We instead follow triple R strategy. We know there is a competition. We analyze all that, redefine, reimagine, and reinvent new things, add interesting component to it so that competition will look at us and want to try and emulate and do other things. So that's something that we follow. We know this is the requirement. Let's see how we can reinvent on what it is, completely reimagine, add interesting stuff. So consistent philosophies. So putting this together, interesting products, unique people, simple processes, consistent philosophies is what is Zoho. And that is what made to Zoho to be a successful organization where it stands today. The last 2 minutes of my learnings from the past 2 decades of my experience in product design. I may not be a good designer. I'm sure all of you are excellent designers. But based on my work, my interaction with designers, I just want to give some few pointers on what can be focused on. Because there used to be a time frame where We used the backend component for designing. We didn't have any prototype, or we were not a user-friendly software at all, because we have been working on the initial version. We worked were on the embedded systems. The user interface was not our cup of tea, but we have evolved over time. We have learned that, and I as a product person, I've also learned a lot along my journey. So some simple things are, this is always we say, keep it simple. Simplicity is the key. Don't make the UI very complicated. This has been the Google's page for years. We have known, and it is self-explanatory. It's a search. So keeping it very simple and self-explanatory things is something that I often tell my designers. They come and they show me a design. I ask them what this is, and they'll go about explaining it. I'll say, "Will you be going ahead and explaining this to each and every person who's going to use the product?" So make it self-explanatory. So that is something that is important that we have to follow. And other criteria that I find, these are all learnings from our own mistakes. The positioning of any button or the color, they often want to make some change to what the competition does, and they go about changing the positioning. Even the next version, they go about changing the positioning. Positioning and all is more like muscle memory. I've been used to seeing a particular button in this place, and you suddenly replace it with the assume there is a search button there. You replace it with a delete button. I'm going to go click that as a search button, because that's a human tendency. Once you are used to a particular color and a particular position, we stick on to that. So don't change that. You have to bring it properly in the first version itself. Similarly, the color, the label that you are using, all those things matters. These are all some mistakes which we have done internally during our release. We thought it is a nice, cool thing to do, but it's not usable at the end of the day. There's going to be problems, and we have reverted. So positioning and the taking care of the muscle memory things is important. And even if it is an illustration, make it meaningful and realistic. Because it is an illustration, you cannot go about and do something. This is something my designers often, they get scolding for doing like this. It's not exactly scolding. I keep asking them, what is that you're... So if you have to represent 75%, keep that 75%. They have represented the green thing as 50% and you call it 75%. No, it's just an illustration. It's just an image. No. The reality, you have to bring it in illustration. That plays a lot of sense. A lot of times people will come and say, if you add together, it will go to 110%. What is this? No, this is just a sample, just an image. No, don't do that. There has to be reality in your illustrations. And flexibility in design is important. And I call this as the ICE formula. Integrable, customizable, extensible, ICE. People want to give the power to the user. They want to change the color. They want to change the text. Give all those options. And whatever change is done, it has to be a workable model. If I change something, drag and drop and build my own screen, it should work. At any point in time, it has to be workable. So that is something that we have to take care while designing. And there are a lot of tools. You have to use them to see where your button positioning is, and are people scrolling to that page and clicking that button. There are web analytics tools that are there which you have to use to enhance your design. You can make use of it. That's something that I do. And when we talk about tools, this is one of my favorite quote. We shape our tools and the in turn shape us. What this means is the tools that you have in your hand plays or has a great impact on your day-to-day activities. If you have a hammer in your hand, everything will look like a nail. There's a screw over there, but you only have a hammer in your hand, so you will end up only hitting it. You need a screwdriver for that. So make use of relevant tools wherever you're using, depending on your business needs. And with that, I come to the end of my session. I think I was able to cover a brief of what I wanted to say. Thank you for your time so much. And you can reach me on any of the social media platform or email to me. And I'm open for questions now.
Great, Raji. Thank you so much. I know there is a lot that you were able to compress in such a short time. Before I had some thoughts, but anyway, I'll open the floor for the audience to have any thoughts or questions or comments over to them. Anybody?
Yeah, I have one question, Rajalakshmi.
Yes.
So you made you said you have about 50 products. and making, so that's a very large number. So, and it must go beyond the culture of the company. While you might say, oh, there's a culture of the company which helps you do that, but what are the processes you follow to enable this? Do you
Okay.
have product days? Do you have ideation days? What is it? How do you do it?
Yeah, and that's what I didn't go in detail because I just wanted to cover these points. Basically, if you see, it is not that when we started in 2005, we wanted to do products for the cloud on the cloud. It is not that we sat down, we came up with these 50 different products that we wanted to do. So that the initial product that we started was, we needed a CRM was one of the first products. Customer relationship is required. We have been using it. And if you see, all these are bundles. These are different suites. You can broadly classify all of them into 5 different bundles: finance bundle, HR bundle, customer relationship bundle, office suite bundle. So once we know these bundles and we have only one product in each of these bundles, then each of that is, again, it's the ideation. Within that, there will be a manager, there will be a lead for that bundle, ideation within that, and then these leads meet together. And it's not that everybody sit together and discuss. There will be small teams, there will be a lead within that bundle. There will be discussion of, because there will be a lot of duplicates otherwise. So all those ideations and discussions will be there, and it will be presented internally. All the discussions do happen. So if I take office as a bundle, we have Word documentation, we have presentation, we have Excel sheet. These are the 3 major things. So there will be 3 teams, 3 managers who are working on this, and some of them will be sub-products or byproducts of that. The presentation, we have a presentation, online presentation, which is a show, and the 2 different sub-products were eventually born after that. The viewer as a mobile application, the one I explained. So each of that was a sub-product, and some of them could be, we have it as a big product. We can bundle, we can use some portion of it and build it as a small product where people could use only that. So that's how the ideation happens. So we do have these bundles, we do have leads for them. There will be discussion. There will be discussion on who is doing what. There will be product roadmap discussions next year, what we are going to do. All that will be there. There will be arguments, who owns which. All those will be there. And wherever there is, that could be, if I have to say, the video itself. Since this pandemic started, we have 4 different video conferencing tools and video conferencing teams that are working on. Sridhar will allow all those experimentations, but whichever scales, the others have to put it down, take that portion, use it in that module, because there is a training platform, there is a meeting platform, there is a there is a click platform. There are different platforms. So the same frameworks could be used. Calendar, if you take, there are 10 different calendars in different products. So whichever then scales and is usable, we use it accordingly. So such ideations happen.
Okay.
And these 50 different products are built across years. It's not that it was all planned and built in 1 year. Across these 15 years, we have come up with this.
Okay. No, thank you.
Yeah, Srikanth, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think, Raji, great presentation. I have 2 questions, actually. The first question is, you talked about your engineering model that for, train your engineers to be consumed in your, company. So the designers that, the UX designers that you have in Zoho, so are these like self-trained, or do you have some kind of training for them as well? Or do you work with, because formally trained designers, or, because there's a lot of self-trained designers also in field, right? So I just wanted to know your experience on that. So that's question number 1. And second question was around how much, there's always debate on how much coding or technology designers should know, right? And there are 2 schools of thought. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on which school of thought that you believe in. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. For your first question, from Zoho schools, I think I said for the past 16 years, we have been running Zoho schools. Only in the last 1 or 2 years, we have started taking designers from Zoho schools. We have a separate, Zoho schools comprises of now 4 different schools. School of Technology, Advanced School of Studies, School of Design, School of Business. That's only in the last 2 years. So where it's again field training. Our own people, they train them on the different tools they have to use, and people also show interest when they join. Today, see, we are improving, or we are learning, and we are improving our own processes. So this latest 2 years, we have been getting from students the work that they are doing. So they know better than what is required. So we have to arrange or rearrange the curriculum so that we can fit in for them. So that is something on in the field training or the tools that they have to be using from Zoho schools, we only take in the last 2 years. Otherwise, during our initial stages, it's not that we didn't focus much on design, but once we wanted to, and we focused, more of the learning is on the field learning, and we do take people expert in this domain so that they could contribute. So today what you see is definitely based on experts' opinion who had external design knowledge and they were able to contribute. That is there. And the second question of technical knowledge, how much of technical knowledge they should know. They may not know the code level details of how things are done. But what is the product? Who's the target audience? For whom are we doing this product? If they know that, it will be easy for them to bring that in their illustration. That I always tell people. Say, for example, the product that I'm currently working as the IT management product. The websites or the people have to monitor the websites. You have to collect logs. So the terminologies they know, it's easy for them to bring that in the illustration. So that amount of what the product is, in a simple terms, how can you explain it to somebody who's asking what the product is, and how can you bring that into your design? Only if you know that what the product does and who's the user who's going to use the product, you can bring relevant people in your illustration. So that amount of knowledge is enough, not to the extent of what is being done and the technical expertise is not required. Just a higher level thing should do for a designer. Because at the end of the day, the same concept, you can represent it in 10 different ways in a design. So only if you know who's using it and how it is useful, you will be able to come up with ideas of how you can represent it.
Yeah, thanks.
Probably we can just have one question. We have the 3 minutes past 10.
Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead, Ashish.
Yeah. So thanks, Raji. I'll ask my question as 3 roles. As a potential aspirant to join Zoho long time back, as a user, and probably for some time as a competitor.
Okay.
Because Shrikant already mentioned that you have tremendous range of products, right? Even somebody has to memorize the icons. They can't probably identify each one of the product by the icons.
Yes.
Back then, when I saw maybe 10 years back Zoho, the culture was still what you described very beautifully, and with a great sense of ownership. Let me add that, because my friend still works there and still worked there for a long time. People just want to associate because, okay, they believe they are producing something, right? At a time, and you're still using PHP and the stack is quite not a trendy, which one will get you a full stack job or something like that. You're still very rooted in technology, basic deployments and everything.
Yes.
With that kind of an environment, and when I saw your products as a competitor and as a user myself, I use Zoho Notes quite extensively till the time it was supported, and gave way to Evernote and Beer and a lot of other actually professionally done products. So having explained my impression of Zoho, my question is that when you make something, and Notes is a good example. It looks beautiful. It has probably above par experience, even when you compare to other international products. So is it like you copy the mock-up from somewhere, or is it just brainstorming? Because it can't be just brainstorming. It can't be an idea which 5-6 people are having and they make it. So you make mock products. What is the actually process like? Having known that there's a tremendous sense of ownership, there's a very great confidence in how you produce, and once you produce, you'll be able to market it. But still, from the niche of the need analysis and probably placing yourself, taking example as Notes, because if you ask me, I can even tell you the default images which you put on the group of notes and things like that. They're beautifully done, probably very good in terms of as an international product as well. I don't think anybody knows about it.
Okay, I understood your question. See, as I said, any product you take, there is competition. It's not that we are the only player in that domain that we are there. We do look at competition, but what we do is we also tell not just the design. Sometimes even our developers, they just try to take code from open source platforms, and we say them, don't take it directly. That is something that we catch in the review. Okay, we do refer to the competition. We just get the crux of it, and we ask people to come up with your own design, come up with your own. See, coding, you write it on your own. You know the problem, you know the competition has solved it this way. Okay, so you even that is case for development, I'm saying you write it from scratch. Then you will know what is the pain point, and you can fine tune it accordingly. For design, similarly, you know what is required, and there are certain things we do follow style guides. The company has grown to such an extent where we have, if you take our logos, all of them will follow certain styles that as we have redefined our logos. And we have also come up with our own font recently. We have we have come up with our own fonts too. So we encourage our designers. You can refer. Everybody refers. There is something on the regarding any subject. You can have that as reference, but use that only as reference. Come up with your own ideas. That is something that we encourage, and we make sure. And if at all you are using, even for presentations, the presentation that I have done, the images or any image, our designer will sit and do. If you're taking it from some place, give that copyright message to where you have taken it. That we follow as a rule. Or redo it yourself. That is something we follow.
Okay, great. So it's nice to hear actually somewhat insight into the Zoho process. Because I have used Zoho products, I can vouch for it. They are pretty good in terms of user experience. You said they are like internally people fear them very much. Probably that quality shows, and all the best. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashish. I think you're past 7 minutes past 10. I think there will be a lot more questions, and of course you have given your contact, and those of you who are interested can possibly get in touch with Raji and probably ask your questions or engage in more elaborately whatever question that you have or whatever discussion you want to have. And Raji, I think, is very open to that. Excellent, Raji. It's a great feeling to celebrate Zoho, and we have done that in every sense, touching various aspects of the company, their product, and also some of the things, the learnings that you have picked up on the way, and that really is very, very fascinating to learn and know and get inspired by. Thanks for your time. Thanks for doing this for us, and we hope that there are more and more successes that will come your way, and probably go much bigger in terms of scale, much bigger in terms of user base, and probably next time around we'll have another session where you talk about Zoho in a totally different scale, and I really would love to hear that. And all the best, and those of you who participated, thanks for your time, and have a great rest of the week, and again meet you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Great presentation. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye. See ya.